Chapter 45, 238 Pre-Age. A ripple travels across all of time and space. It travels as a wave would, in a pond of normal water. The tiny creatures that live in this pond barely notice its passage. It doesn't affect them that they would notice. It doesn't change their daily pond life. Yet their life is irrevocably changed by the ripple. Time, space, both are torn asunder, cast into the ever-unfolding multiverse. Plant, 238 Pre-Age. There is a momentous twisting of the fabric of time and space, as every line of fate is twisted into place. The universe is irrevocably changed as Chilled lands. There is no Bardock to confront him, no Bardock to change the future. No warning from Chilled to his family, no fear of a super scion to be carried on for generations. 1,000 years from now, born of a single change, the universe would shudder. Age 783, Planet Scion. Beerus was busy stuffing his face, ignoring our presence completely, while Whis gave us the rundown on the situation. Explain it to me again? I ask, holding my forehead from a massive headache I had. There are 18 universes. Universes 1 through 12 are what we call twin universes. They each have a universe that matches them. Universes 13 through 18, however, are special for more than one reason, none of which matters in this context. Suffice it is to say that they are clones of the lower universes, and leave it at that. We are in Universe 15. Whis explained, pulling up a diagram from his scepter before continuing. Over 1,000 years ago, there was an unknown event that had catastrophic repercussions. Within each universe, there are also alternate realities and alternate timelines. Due to this unknown event, Universe 15 split into 6 different timelines. The Kais have investigated, but no cause has been found. Okay, but what does that have to do with this tournament? I ask, finally following. The king of all, while omnipotent, is not always paying attention. He has, however, become aware of the situation and plans to rectify it. In 3 months' time, 5 of the timelines will be erased from existence, along with everything inside. The remaining timeline will become the official timeline of Universe 15. Whis replied, so the tournament is to determine which timeline survives? I ask, you said only 4 groups of fighters, though? That's correct on both. Timelines 1 and 4 are already dead. Something happened within them, and all life was wiped out. They are already chosen to be wiped out. All that remains is to choose which of the remaining 4 timelines will become the official timeline. Whis explained, who is to be the third member? Broly piped up from beside me. You mentioned each timeline will have up to 3 fighters, and that KLL and I would be 2 of ours. Who is our third? None of your business, Beerus says from where he's eating. You'll see them on the day of the tournament, and not a moment before. And I don't think I need to tell you what's at stake here. You 3 lose, we're all gone. Everyone you know and love gone. Yeah, we get it. So what next? We train and wait and see what happens. I ask. Well, we do of course want our chances of winning to be the best. So, if the 2 of you are willing, you may come with me to train. Whis offers. What? Beerus roars. Whis, you can't be serious. I won't stand for it. Now, my lord. You know that it's for the best. If we don't present as strong a team as possible, we're likely to be wiped from existence. Whis explains in his calm voice. Fine. Beerus says, looking at the both of us. Don't expect me to help. You'll be training them alone. What exactly is your problem, asshole? I asked, quickly standing up. Ever since I met you, you've been the biggest dick in the universe. You came hunting for me, remember? Whis and Beerus both appeared just inches from me. Beerus's fist held lightly in place by Whis, barely an inch from my skull. Lord Beerus, please. Killing him would hurt our chances. His question is valid, you know. Whis says before letting go. Fine, brat. You want to know why I dislike you? Beerus says, snarling. Because you're nothing, you're a joke. Do I have to rely on you to win, to save my own life? I've been watching you for years, and if it wasn't for the help of others, you'd have died over and over. You have the balls to sit there and ask why I don't like you when your friend put up more of a challenge than you ever did. Fuck you, Beerus. It's so easy for you to sit there and act like I'm nothing. But what about you? How old are you? How many years of fighting do you? I'm barely even 16. I reply, standing up. You were just a weak little kitten at my age, so where do you get off complaining about my strength? A weak kitten? Beerus screams in rage. I could have crushed you as an infant, you useless monkey. With a crash, my fist is blocked several inches from Beerus' face by Whis' scepter, my bright pink aura blazing around me. Behind me, Broly has pushed into Super Saiyan God, prepared to back me up. Whis spins his scepter, knocking me back towards Broly, who catches me instantly. Beerus appears in front of us, his tail slamming across my face, knocking Broly and I back several feet. I reach deep within, pooling my energy, preparing to use Kaioken again when Whis appears between all 3 of us. Stop it, you 3. My lord, don't antagonize the Scions. As infuriating as you find them, they are currently our only hope of survival. Instead, we should be working to help them. And attacking him after I stopped his attack was very unsportsmanlike. Whis says calmly, I don't give a damn, Whis. These idiots need to learn, or this tournament is going to devour them. If it weren't for my own life being on the line, I'd let them die. Beerus replies. I grit my teeth, before replying. I'm going to make sure you regret that. Beerus glares at me before turning to Whis. Grab the Scions and let's go. We have 3 months, and they're going to need every bit of it. Yes, my lord. Earth, 87 days later. With a pop, Broly and I appear on the top of what was once before Cammy's lookout. With Cammy no longer alive, I wasn't quite sure what to call it. I motioned to Broly to stay where he was and continued on without him. I could sense Muri deep within, but no one else. With what I had in mind, I felt it best that I alone approach Muri. It took me a short while to make my way into the bowels of the lookout, but I managed to find Muri in the end. "Hello, Muri," I say as I approach him. He's sitting on a small stool, hunched over a book that is spread open on the table in front of him. He looks up momentarily, before looking down again and turning the page. "KLL, welcome back," Muri says, but not looking back up at me. "I'm sorry, Muri, for everything that happened to you. My race has caused you a lot of pain and suffering. I know I can't fix it, not truly, but I want you to know that those responsible for your imprisonment are dead." I tell him. He hums before closing the book and finally looking up at me. "I don't blame you, KLL. I'm old, as you know. I have seen much in my lifetime, and through that, I would say that I at least have gained some measure of wisdom. Wisdom dictates that someone who endangered themselves to save you, who used their final wish to bring you to safety, couldn't be blamed for what has happened to me. Thank you, Muri," I tell him, and then join him at the table. "Will you tell me all that has transpired?" Muri asks. I nod and begin my story. "I see. So they betrayed you as well," Muri says, shaking his head. "I'm sorry that you had to suffer as well, KLL, and that the Dragon Balls under my control went on to cause so much pain. I've come to accept that the Scions were never good people. Some were shining examples of humanity, but on the whole, they were exactly what they always were. A race of warriors, for whom fights to the death was the norm," I say, shrugging. "So what brings you here, KLL? Surely you didn't come all this way to apologize to me?" Muri asks. "Your friend has been standing outside for quite a while. I don't want you to keep him waiting. My main reason for being here was to apologize. There is a lot going on, and this may be my last chance to make peace with those I've hurt. I wouldn't feel right leaving it like that." I tell him, "But you're right in that it wasn't the only reason I came." "Tell me what you need, KLL," Muri says, looking at me. "As you know, Cammy sealed the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 months. It should have about 8 months ago. There is a fight coming, and Broly and I need every bit of strength we can get. I'd like for us to spend a day within, to give us that extra year of training. We're going to need it." I tell him. "I see. Well, yes, the seal on it broke quite some time ago. I see no reason you can't make use of it. I must admit that while I've mostly ignored it, I am quite curious as to what it contains and how it works." Muri replies, standing up. "Let's take a look." I nod and quickly follow after him. I make a quick trip to grab Broly, and we meet at the entrance to the chamber. Muri grabs the long handle and tugs it open, the hallways filling with blinding white light. Our eyes quickly adjust, and we step in, taking a look around at the central building. "Oh my," Muri says, looking around. "This room is actually infinite in all directions except downward. How peculiar. This is the room that turns a day outside into a year within, KLL?" Broly asks, looking around as well. "That's right. Once the door is closed, it's completely separated from that dimension." I tell them. What's this?" Muri gasps from over near the bedroom. I turn and quickly make my way over to him, spotting what had surprised him. Those are the Black Star Dragon Balls. They were made by Cammy's original form, but he realized that they were too dangerous to be used. I explain. 7 palm-sized golden orbs rest on a dais, a large stone dragon wrapped around the base to tower over them. Yes, I sense that. They badly misuse the power they generate, and it causes the planet they are used on to self-destruct. Muri replies, waving his hands over it. "You can sense all of that?" I ask in surprise. "I can. I was trained by Guru himself. Cammy didn't know as much about the Dragon Balls as I do, so I can see how this mistake was made." Muri answers. "Can you destroy them?" Cammy said he wasn't strong enough to destroy them himself after he split. I ask, walking around the side of the dais. "Though, how do they still exist when Cammy is dead?" "Destroy? No. The power contained within these is nearly on the level of the Dragon Balls created by Zalama." Muri replies. "I think he transferred them to me before the attempt at reintegration was attempted. I can sense them, now that we're in the same dimension as they are." He waves his hands over them a few more times before turning to me. "I may be able to fix them, though. It will take quite some time, but I can study them and find out." Muri announces. "How long?" I ask. "At least a few months. Perhaps as much as a year." Muri explains, turning back to the balls. "I know that you mentioned a fight is coming, so they won't be useful for that, but afterward they will still be usable. Well, I guess it's a good thing that a year passes in the chamber, while only a day passes outside." I ask, hopeful. Muri pauses in his hand waving, before turning back to me in stunned silence. A moment passes. "Well, yes, that would work." 1 month later. "Broly, I'm going to head off," I tell him after a quick morning warm-up. "Where are you going?" He asks. "I'm going to fly out into the void for about a day. I've got a few things I'd like to try, and I'm worried they'll be destructive. Too destructive to be anywhere near our only exit." I tell him. "I see. Then I shall see you when you return," Broly says, before heading back towards the central rooms. "Tell Mori I'll be back, will you?" 6 months later. Broly's massive fist slammed into the ground, just barely missing me inches as I flared my energy around me to give me a buffer. With a push I moved into Kaioken, the red tinging the pink and making our power levels much closer than before. I zipped in, my leg cocked back for a kick aimed at his midsection, but he manages to catch it. I bring it home. For a moment I assume he's going to throw me to the side, but a look of immeasurable rage comes over his face. With a scream, he slams me into the ground once, twice, with a third on the way. His aura explodes as he rears me back again, his power level jumping higher than I had ever seen before, and I know that in moments I'm going to die. Kaiken, times 10. I yell, a jolt of pain rushing through my body as my power level multiplies. I rip myself out of his hand as time slows down around me, twisting in place to slam a kick into the back of his head that instantly knocks him out. He drops to base form and slams face first into the ground. I dropped to base form as well, swiping away the alert telling me I'd gained experience, and popped over to Muri, so he could heal Broly and I. What happened, man? I ask after we've both been healed. I don't know, it was like my old rage. I couldn't stop it. Everything was red, and I could see what I was doing, but I wasn't able to stop it. Broly replies, "Shit. Alright, we can't let you use that form anymore. As strong as it makes you, the chances of you going berserk is simply too high. I'm sorry, Broly. Looks like it wasn't permanently healed as we thought." I tell him, "KL, I need that power. I can't keep up or train with you to help you get stronger without it. I'm not strong enough to activate your game thing otherwise." Broly pleads, "If I go crazy, just knock me out again. You know that could permanently hurt you, right?" I ask, "I know, but it must be done." Earth Muri's lookout. The door to the chamber slid open, bright white light filling the hallways for the first time in over a day. I step out, the transfer from the higher gravity of the time chamber, and Earth's gravity making me feel practically weightless. Broly steps out behind me, looking around in wonder, with Muri bringing up the rear. "Did only a day truly pass outside of the chamber, KLL?" Broly asks. "Yes, almost exactly 1 day. We still have 2 days before Whis comes for us." I tell him, "Shall we head out to the platform?" Muri asks from behind us. We make our way out and head over to the center, where Muri motions with his hand and 7 golden balls float down to rest together. Every 15 or so seconds, they pulse with white gold energy, an almost inaudible ringing following pace. Where before the balls housed black stars and the normal set had red stars, the stars on the face of these were as bright white as the marble they lay upon. I would have liked to have made these wishes when I had longer to enjoy the fruits of our labor, but Muri suggested that using them in an alternate dimension would likely cause issues. "You're certain they are okay to use, Muri?" I ask again. "I'm certain of it, KLL. After I figured out that the pedestal they rested on was the model for them, making the needed changes was almost easy. They are safe to use at last." Muri replies, "What are their limits?" I ask, looking down at them. "Well, I'm not sure they have a limit. I do not believe they can kill someone or create an entire universe, but they are almost unfathomably strong," Muri tells me. "I imagine you could wish for just about anything. Do you know how many wishes?" I ask. 2 or 3. "They are so powerful that I can't be certain." He answers. "I see. Alright, I'm ready then. Summon him, Muri." I reply, "Rise, Seze. Rise and grant our wishes." Muri chants, as the balls begin to pulse and ring even more. An explosion of light launches high into the sky, as thick and wide as a city block, twisting and wrapping around itself. I fly up, looking down at the forming dragon as the light coalesces into golden white scales. A roar so loud that it shakes the heavens calls out, as his head forms at the end of his infinite body. Dwarfing the lookout, Seze's head made it look small by comparison. His body so long that it disappeared past the horizon as far as I could see, enough that I expected he wrapped around the entire planet. "I am Seze, speak your 2 wishes." He rumbles, so loud that my ears nearly bleed from the force of it. I look down and see that Muri is on the ground, clutching his ears. I need to make this quick. Shit, only 2 wishes. I had hoped for 3. Still, there is some good that can be done with just 2 wishes. I think before calling out to Seze. "Seze, I wish that the Scion Paragus be brought back to life, whole and in good health, at this location. I wish that Broly's issues with rage be removed entirely, without a detriment to his strength, power, or abilities. That he always be in control of himself." I call out to Seze. The gargantuan dragon's eyes light up, brighter than the sun, so bright that I have to cover my eyes as well. "Your wishes have been granted. Farewell," he announces, before exploding into sparks of light. The sparks cascade down, swirling around like a vortex into the Dragon Balls far below. As the energy flows into them, they slowly fade into gray balls but don't move an inch. I land on the lookout far below, immediately helping Muri to his feet where he sets out to heal his ears. There is a white glow behind me, and out of the corner of my eye, I see that Broly is glowing as well. A tall Scion steps out of the glow in the center of the lookout. Paragus looks around in confusion, the transition from free spirit to life a jarring one. He spots Broly, and a look of stunned wonderment crosses his face. "Be Broly? Is that you?" he asks, stumbling slightly in his direction. "Father, yes." Broly replies, tears forming in his eyes as he rushes forward and hugs the man. "Broly, son, my God, it's been so long." Paragus whispers, holding his son for the first time in 35 years. "I am so sorry." Broly begins. I motion to Muri to follow me and give some space to them. KLL, that was a good thing you've just done, Muri tells me, once we're near the entrance to the lookout. I know. He deserves it, honestly. He's fought against his nature long enough, I think. He shouldn't have to struggle to be a good person. I know also that his biggest regret was killing his father, and that was something I could fix. I tell him, I'm sorry that it wasn't 3 wishes, KLL. It's not an exact science, dealing with something that powerful. Muri says, shaking his head. It's okay, Muri. Bara would understand why I didn't bring him back. I say, leaning against the wall. Broly and Paragus make their way over to us, and Broly makes introductions. This is my friend KLL, father. He is the strongest of our race and our current king. Broly says, motioning to me. And this is Muri, he is an elder Namekian. Paragus looks slightly askance at me before bowing. My king, I thank you for all that you've done for Broly and me. No need to bow, Paragus. Broly deserved better, so I'm trying to make amends. I tell him, thank you, KLL. I feel as though a fog has lifted. I can't fully describe it. Broly says, I wish I had more time with my father, but we need to leave soon. No worries, Broly. Use the chamber. It'll give the 2 of you a year to spend together before we need to go save the timeline. I tell him, are you sure? You don't want to use it again? Broly asks. No, Broly, go spend time with your dad. It's been long enough. Planet Scion, 48 hours later. Broly and I are standing atop the palace, counting down the seconds till Whis arrives. With a flash of white light, Whis appears a dozen or so feet from us, right on time. KLL, Broly, he says in greeting. Are you 2 ready? We are, I reply as we both approach. Excellent. Grab a hold my shoulder, and we shall go. It'll take us a few minutes to arrive as we need to pass into a different dimension. But we'll be there shortly. Whis says, all right, let's do this. And with another flash of light, we were gone.